I'm going to be sitting here and answering like 3 or 4 super kind of common questions for you. Okay, it's a proper Q&A with my cup of coffee. Let's begin. So, before everything, I'm just going to start by introducing myself. So my name is Saloni. Most of you guys know me as Slow because my handle on Instagram is called Keeping Up with Slow. And I will describe myself as part girl, part camera, honestly. And that's even my Instagram bio because I feel like documenting life is one of the greatest joys I have. Like that's what I live for. And it gives me so much pleasure and immense joy to be able to like edit and video treat and share that life with you guys, right? So as you guys may know, I went to King's College London to study. I went to business school. I was there for 4 years, and then I was there for 1 year after that, just figuring out where to work. Applied to work, got a job at an investment bank, but then quit in 3 months and came back to India, home sweet home. Came back to Bombay, started working here after like 1 month of literally cold emailing each and every open job role that I knew. And as my luck would have it, or I would say perseverance and hard work would have it, I got one of my dream jobs, which was working at car hospitality, managing 4 international brands: Yaucha, Hakkasan, Aratha, and Chin Chin. At that point, car hospitality was run by another female entrepreneur, Karina Bajaj, who I again looked up to. She was Forbes 30. That's what I got to know about her. Mm, so I was there for around like 8 to 9 months before I switched to Condé Nast because I just felt like I wanted to be in a more corporate setup, really know what HR was about, know, like be in a proper corporate office with like a canteen and like, like office gossip and stuff like that. So I moved to Conde. I was at Conde for around a year. And then, yeah, after I felt like I had these 2 years of kind of corporate experience and I felt like I wanted to venture out on my own, I went and started my own consultancy. So, yeah, that's how I got to where I got to. A lot of questions were about, hold on, I'm just going to check what the questions were about. Like, I'm reading the questions. A lot of the questions have got to do with like just life in Bombay, quality of life in Bombay, places to hang in Bombay. So I'm just going to tackle the Bombay question first. So Bombay life's been great. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's extremely chaotic. It's extremely overcrowded and it can get lonely. Those are kind of my four negatives or whatever, but there are 10,000 pros living in Bombay. You're always motivated because you're literally roaming and like literally living amongst like the most successful people of the world. Constantly have things to do, right? Like living as a solo girl in Bombay has never been easier because there's always exhibitions, always activities, always like solo things you can do, versus staying in a small city like Pune. I wouldn't feel this comfortable like going out solo and living solo and all of that. There is always opportunity. You can walk into any office at any time, and like what you hear about Bombay, like olden movies where, yeah, I just walked into the office and I presented my CV and they gave me a job, that still happens. Trust me, I have tried doing that and it's gotten me to like interview stage. So opportunity 10 on 10. I mean, that's what Bombay is made of, right? City of dreams, it's for a reason. And the food and hospitality scene here, like because I'm such a foodie, that's one of like the major criteria I will judge Bombay on, and it's absolutely banging. At least the last year and this year, the amount of new restaurants, just like the innovation in the F&B scene, and not just like hospitality, like even retail, even the brands coming out of Bombay, like the e-commerce brands, the D2C brands, the innovation there has been crazy. So I just kind of love this mixture that the city has for me. Obviously, touchwood, I have a few friends from my workspaces, and I've been making friends over Instagram, and also like my family friends over here, my cousins over here. So like I'm not that bothered by like the loneliness aspect of it. But yes, there are definitely some days where I really want to do something with somebody and I just wish I was back in my hometown because my friends are there, but then I don't have anyone to go with. But I feel like that's just a part and parcel of growing up, and that's just any big city at this point. So the most important thing you need to do to be able to survive in a big city like Bombay is have a routine. You will not get anywhere without a routine. Like, I am in love with my routine, like my daily rituals, my coffee, my matcha, my journaling, my swimming, my work sprints. Like, I love my Bombay routine, you know. Like, by the end of the day I feel so accomplished. I take a hot shower, I cook myself a meal. Like, cooking is a big part of my routine. I cook myself a really hot meal and I go to sleep, and I feel like I get better, like mentally, by just having a routine. And secondly, guys, I feel like if you have to make it in any big city, and I'm no way in hell saying that I have made it, but I will kind of come on here and say that I feel super confident to be able to navigate myself and super confident to be able to even sustain myself in Bombay right now. Um, and this is all very, very, like, yes, big PS here is that I do not live in a rented home. I have my own home in Bombay, and I'm really, really privileged that my parents let me live in this home, which is kind of, we have another home in Bombay because right now I'm vlogging from Pune, which is my main family home. I totally forgot to mention that in the intro, by the way. Originally Pune girl, born and brought up in Pune, did my high schooling in Pune, and then went to London after my 12th grade, and then directly just came back to Bombay. So I've always had a family home here. I'm living there. I currently live alone. So yeah, if you don't have your living situation sorted, please think about it. Think about moving to Bombay really twice, thrice, 10 times, because it's hella expensive. So that is one thing that I absolutely count my blessings for. I recognize my privilege and I'm super grateful. Yeah, going back to what I think you really need to like kind of make it in a big city or in Bombay is, yes, number one, routine, and also number two is like you have to have like some kind of like delulu factor in you. You have to be delulu, like you have to dream big. Like, if you dream for the moon, you land among stars, right? And you have to kind of fake it till you make it, because everyone here is better than you at something, and that arrogance is kind of helping them lead the way forward. And I wouldn't even call it arrogance, I would just call it being delulu. Like, you just have to believe in yourself, you have to believe you're the best at what you're doing, and that inner confidence and inner strength, you cannot let go of that. So I feel like those were my 2 cents on Bombay. Questions are obviously about my work. So what is my job exactly like? It seems work from home. Yes, it is work from home. Your vibe's so funny. I love your content. Oh, so thank you so much. Where do you work and how does the life in the day look? How do you manage working in content creation? Very good question. Why do most people first work somewhere then pursue content creation solely? Okay, I'm just gonna try to answer all of this in like one lump sum chunky answer. Yes, I work from home. I work twice a week from a co-working space in Juhu. I feel like I really need to do that because I love kind of interacting with people and being a part of community, and that is exactly the only thing I miss about having a 9 to 5 job is the friendships you make are for life, guys. Like, I really, really, really miss having like friends kind of at the workspace, you know, chill with, eat lunch with, and stuff like that. So I try to kind of mingle and like make friends. And sometimes I even call like my interns and employees that work with me, because I feel like that face to face is so important for the culture you're trying to set, or you're trying to build for yourself. And then on that note, what exactly is my job? So as I said, I quit after 2 years of working in the corporate space and I started my own consultancy. Number one step to kind of being an agency owner or being a consultancy owner is freelancing. You have to really double down on your relationships with people, really get those one or two, or might as well say 3 kind of freelancing gigs in the beginning. Really understand what it means to work without the resources that a full corporation or a company provides you, and be confident in the skill that you present to people, because without that I feel like you won't understand what your worth is, how to price yourself, how your relationships will bring you so far in life. Because when you're working in 9 to 5, you're very, very dependent on your relationship as a team. Here it's a lot of collaboration with you and them, right? It's just very direct and very like kind of linear. So I feel like freelancing is like the way to go about it, and that's exactly what I did. So I started freelancing, and then once I felt like I had like more than 3 clients and it was like way above my bandwidth and I needed to like have somebody on to help me and like take more clients and stuff like that, I hired my first employee. And then I just basically got onto doing like the strategy work, and the execution work was taken over by my employee. Obviously, you have to have a foolproof kind of proper structure and organized kind of template to follow for onboarding of clients, lead generation of clients, converting the contract, all of that. So touchwood, I learned all of that from my previous job. So it's extremely important that you do a corporate job before you kind of start your own thing, because number one, you need to experience what it feels like to be an employee, because you yourself are going to hire employees, right? And number two, I feel like all of these like soft skills that you learn from being in a 9 to 5, like communication, how to write a good email, like how to text over WhatsApp, how to really extract like something out of like a graphic designer, or how to like tap into someone's photography potential, like all of these kind of come under the brand strategy umbrella. Oh yeah, I am actually a brand strategist. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I'm a brand strategist, and I just gave you my whole how I got there and like my consultancy model. But I'll talk about little bit about like what I do daily and like what my tasks look like and stuff. So currently the service stack I offer is website development, graphic design, social media management, social media strategy, which is two completely different things, by the way. You can't manage a social media without having an overarching foolproof strategy that guides you to manage it. I do more of the strategy bit. I don't take up like posting, because I just feel like the in-house team or the brand can do it themselves, because all they need to do is like follow the blueprint that I've given them. I also do a lot of influencer and UGC partnerships for brands. Everything like from 360 kind of like ideation to hook development to making sure like the drafts are reviewed to making sure like it's on brand identity, etc., etc. Then I've recently started doing campaign and e-commerce shoots. I feel like I've got a good team now that I can kind of depend on and execute the vision of the brand. So I do a lot of art direction, mood boarding. One of my greatest strengths is copywriting. So anything related to content management, copywriting, communication, is something I do personally and don't depend on a team for. And I think with content creation, it's extremely tough. I really don't think I've nailed it. Really don't think I've nailed it. I'm not consistent at all. That is one thing I really want to do. It's not even about like chasing the numbers, it's just about kind of like the opportunities you get. Like at this point, I'm not using a CV anymore. Trust me when I say this. I don't use a CV. My Instagram page is my CV because it encapsulates everything that I do in life. Like that is another question I've got. Like, how do I get my leads? From Instagram. I literally get my leads from Instagram. And touchwood, I also get leads from like my past 2 years of corporate experience, because like I said, you must do a corporate job for at least 2 to 3 years before you branch out on your own, because you never know what that might lead to, and it's always a good thing. You're going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to make such long-term connections and relationships with people who are going to refer you. Word of mouth is like the strongest lead gen for me till now. Like social media genuinely comes second. In terms of why people do content creation first and start doing their business like after that, I just feel like that's the usual route to go, right? Like you would want to first build a following and build an audience and then have a product to sell to that audience. And I think that's one of the smartest things that our generation is doing right now. Like our parents did not have that. They had to rely on like traditional forms of advertisement, which were very costly. In our generation, the cost is basically hard work, because if you're not consistent, you're not going to be able to build a community and audience. And I feel like that's also the case for brands. Like you can go to any PR company, you can go to any big influencer and ask her to post for you, but nothing and no one is going to be able to move product for you as much as your own personal community and your own personal audience and your own personal kind of star power that you have. I'm getting super late to go out now, and I hope that this was informative, and I hope that I was able to cover and answer all of your questions. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for sending in these questions, and thank you so much for being so curious. It really honestly validates my feelings and makes me kind of like share more content and like really be consistent with this whole YouTube Instagram journey. So thank you again, and I will see you guys next time.